Calvin Kattar versus Arnold Allen has been confirmed for the main event of the October 29th Fight Night card in Las Vegas. For this matchup, this could be a title eliminator matchup. I did believe that Emmett or Yair Rodriguez would probably have to face each other to get that title eliminator matchup for themselves. Obviously, Yair Rodriguez came off of that win from Brian Ortega, where Brian Ortega kind of injured his shoulder a little bit. Kind of a freak injury that he did cause, but it wasn't like an actual win. It didn't feel like an actual win from a fan's perspective, or maybe a UFC perspective. Also, they do want him to do another fight. For Josh Emmett, he did have a weird decision win over Calvin Kattar, where I believe quite a bit of people thought Calvin Kattar won the decision in that fight. I thought Calvin Kattar won the fight also, but this is where we're at now. This is a title eliminator bout for right now, for what we know. Josh Emmett versus Yair Rodriguez probably should have happened, and probably should happen, because I don't think they're going to get title matches on their own merit. And with Alexander Volkanovski eyeing 155 too, they'll probably be having to wait like over a year to get their matchup, especially this matchup is happening also. But yeah, for this video, I'm going to be breaking down some early predictions for this matchup, how they physically match up with each other, how I believe the fight will play out, and things like that. So first off, I'm going to go off how they physically match up with each other. So Calvin Kattar has a 23-6 record, along with Allen having an 18-1 record. Calvin Kattar is 6 years older than Arnold Allen, which is important. That 34 number is very important. Also, you're kind of riding on that prime age of his career. He will have a 3-inch height advantage in this matchup. Will have a 2-inch reach advantage and a 1-inch leg reach advantage. For the I want to say prerequisites. It's a weird term, but this is how we're going to go about it. So for Kattar, his last fights were a controversial loss to Josh Emmett, where I believe he did win. A lot of people believe he did win. And a decision win over Giga Chikadze. His last 4 fights have been 5-round fights. I believe they all went to decision from what I remember. I believe it was Ige, Holloway, Chikadze, and Emmett. And he does have some good stand-up, does have some good takedown defense, and does have some solid wrestling under his belt. Can resort to grappling, or resorted to grappling in his Chikadze fight. And for Allen, his last fights were a TKO win over Dan Hooker and a decision win over Sadiq Youssef. He is currently on an 11-fight win streak and is undefeated in the UFC. He is a very good technical fighter. Same with, obviously, Calvin Kattar. Does have some good takedown defense also. He does have a little bit of grappling under himself also, but these guys are kind of similar. Not like stance-wise, but traits-wise, they're very similar. I believe Kattar does have some extremely good takedown defense, as in statistically. I don't know if he's been taken down before. It's like a really high percentage where he's knocked off all those takedowns that have been against him. But for this matchup, that sounded really weird. This should be very fun. These guys are very technical. I believe they will keep it standing up, and that's what makes it great. These guys are very technical fighters, and they'll just go at it for 5 rounds. I believe this will last 5 rounds. But in this matchup, there are multiple things that will come into play for who wins this fight. Obviously, Kattar is 34 years old, so he's riding on the edge of that prime years of him being a fighter. He does have a 2-inch reach advantage in this fight, which is also interesting, especially if they're going to be on the feet for most of the time, and these guys are very technical fighters. So Kattar will probably use his jab and things like that to keep Arnold Allen at distance. For some reason, in Arnold Allen's fights, like, it does show him being 5'8", but it feels like he's like a very long dude and not that small of a dude in the octagon either. So I was really confused when I saw these statistics. Also, I was like, not sure how it makes sense, but Kattar does have multiple 5-round bouts under his belt. His last 4 fights were 5 rounds, so he's used to training for those bouts in general. Arnold Allen in this fight does gas out normally. He gassed out kind of in the Sadiq Youssef fight. He did gas out in the Nick Lentz fight. He gasses out quite a bit in his fights. So I don't know if I can trust Arnold Allen in 5 rounds when he can barely make it in 3 rounds. He does fight at a higher pace in 3-round fights, so you got to keep that in the question there, but I just don't think he does have good cardio in general. There's some guys that have really good cardio and some guys that just aren't, just a natural thing in general. And then you just obviously work on that with your conditioning. I just don't think Arnold Allen has good conditioning in general. Not conditioning, I mean just natural cardio abilities. I think if Kattar mixes in some of those things like the clinch, he will be able to maybe try and tire out Arnold Allen a little bit, move a lot earlier in the fight just to get Arnold Allen moving also and tiring himself out if he believes he does have the better cardio, which I do think Kattar does have the better cardio, so he'll probably be able to outwork Arnold Allen. I do believe Arnold Allen will win the early rounds in this fight. I don't think he'll go crazy, but I think he'll hit his combos a lot earlier. Won't have to worry about the cardio, but I do think later in the fight, the cardio will be a big issue for Arnold Allen. That's where we'll see Calvin Kattar take over for those last 3 rounds. I'm going to give this a 48-47 win for Calvin Kattar for right now. I just trust his cardio way more than Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen is still very young also, so he does have quite a bit to improve. Not in like a bad way, but he's still improving in general. But he is a very good fighter also, does have a lot of power in his hands. I think maybe might be able to see Calvin Kattar use some wrestling in the later rounds, but I'm not too sure about that. In general, I just think he'll be able to use his jab and go from there, honestly. Just start with the jab, use that 2-inch reach advantage there. Arnold Allen does kind of keep with the stance, kind of keeps his like face forward. So if Kattar's able to telegraph his jab a little bit more with more of his other strikes, he should be able to win this fight. I do see a 48-47 decision win for Calvin Kattar here. And yes, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I don't believe we have a fight night card coming up. I think we do have a 2-week break. I am actually not quite sure about that. But if we do have a card next week, there will be a video coming out on Sunday. If we don't, I'll probably find a video to make for Sunday. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the card this Saturday. It should be a pretty solid one. And yeah, in this card also, oh my goodness, October 29th, this card's really good too. The co-main event is Topuria Barboza, and there's a lot more other good fights on that card that I'm just not remembering right now. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys next time.